Welcome back to the BucketHatSam YouTube channel, where today I'm going to be ranking brutally every single West Bromwich Albion's season so far. Every single player. We're going to be going through the squad list. I've got the tier list here now. We're doing class, good, okay, poor, and no minutes to judge, because I think it's unfair on some players to judge them at all, to be honest, and whack them on the tier list. But we're going to go through all of them today. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I say this, I'm a West Bromwich Albion fan, so let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let's get straight into this. So starting off, we have got Alex Mowat. Now, for me, I'm going to say it straight away. I think he's been one of our best players this season. I'm going to whack him straight into class. And I feel like this season, we're starting to realise just how important he is for this Albion side and how massive he has been so many times this season. He's even been chipping in with goals this season. I really like him as a player. I can't really fault him. I really like what he does for the Albion. I think finally now people are starting to realise and appreciate just how much he does for the side. So yeah, straight away into class. I think he's on a par with probably 3 or 4 players that I think have been really good. He keeps the game ticking along. He kind of dictates the tempo. And I think if he's not playing well, then the Albion don't play well. I think that's the perfect summary for him. Next then, these photos, by the way, are tiny on my screen. So, Alfie Gilchrist. Now, my honest thoughts on Alfie Gilchrist. I can't decide just how good he is. Now, he came into the side and everyone thought this man was going to be the main man this season. Kind of the way he'd been playing at Sheffield United, the way people talk about him at Chelsea, some of the comparisons to John Terry, which have been made and things like that in his past. I was really excited to see him. I've not been blown away by him. I'm going to say okay. Kind of just meh, really. There's not been a moment where I've gone, oh my word, he's been great. I've never thought he was poor or anything, but I expected a little bit more from him. I know kind of he's had some injury problems, but for me, him and Campbell have been on pretty much par. Arguably, I'd say I think Campbell's performed better than him this season, but we'll get on to him in a minute. But Gilchrist, for me, I don't feel like we've seen the full player yet. I don't know whether it's to do with his fitness levels still aren't there. Maybe that could be it. But for me, I've not been blown away by him. And I know some people may get on to me because I think he's one of the players in the squad where the name carries a little bit more weight than any other player. But I don't think we've seen anything from him to suggest right now that he should be starting, that he's one of the main men. I'm not entirely convinced. Next, we have got Hegebo, I think that is. Yes, it is Hegebo. Sorry, these photos are tiny on my screen. How do I feel about Hegebo? I'm going to say good. I think overall, Hegebo, for what we bought him, we knew he wasn't a prolific striker. We've seen that from his record wherever he's been. I like him as a player. I think he's been pretty solid. Now, he's chipped in with a few goals. That goal against Borough, the couple of goals against, what's the name now? It's literally just come Coventry. I was at the game. I think he's been playing well, and for his role, I think he's stepped up massively, because we'll get on to some of the other strikers in a minute, but I didn't expect him to be playing just as much as he was. I thought we were going to have a bit of a bit part role, kind of chopping and changing, but he's made that position his own, and what I really like is just how much he does off the ball as well. I think his pressing's brilliant, his hold-up play is good. I like him as a player, and I think slowly, as we've seen, he's been growing into the season. He's been getting better as time has gone on, so yeah, I've been really pleased with him. Next, we've got Callum Styles. Straight into good for me, top of good. I think Callum Styles is one of the most underrated players at the Albion. We've got in an experienced left-back from Southampton on loan, and he can't get in ahead of Callum Styles. Callum Styles, who is still registered as a midfielder, by the way, on the West Brom website. He is not as left-back, but he's made that position his own. I really like him. I think, yet again, he's been performing solidly, and we saw it again against Patrick Roberts last night. This is, by the way, this is recording on the 27th. I'm not sure when this video is going to be going out, but I think he's been really solid yet again. I think he's been a really solid player since we signed him. I've always got messages off Barnsley fans or Sunderland fans that can't explain and can't understand how he's performing well and how we like him, because he left on such bad terms with both of those sides. But I really like him. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a good championship player. And what we've seen more so of him as the season's gone on, he's attacking a lot more. He's overlaps. He's creating more chances. I really like him. And he'll occasionally chip in with a goal. I really like him. So I'm going to say good. I think he's been a very solid player. Next, we have got Charlie Taylor. I think that is. Yes, it is Charlie Taylor. Now, Charlie Taylor, where do I rank him? I don't know if it's okay. I'm going to say poor. Just on expectations, I thought he'd kind of walk straight into this team. I thought he'd kind of really improve us. He's a player that has played in the Premier League for so long. He's been at Burnley, he's played at Leeds, he's played at Southampton. He's played at big teams, and he's always been a very decent player whenever he's played against the Albion. But I've not been blown away by him. He's the one that probably, okay, is probably the right position. But from expectations, I thought he'd come in and make the position his own, where realistically, he's been playing in a back three as a centre-back mostly. But I don't think he's good enough. I really don't. I've been disappointed by him, to be honest. And Callum Styles, for me, when you compare the two, is leaps and bounds ahead of him. So, yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not being blown away by Charlie Taylor. So I'm going to whack him in poor just because, again, it's a player we've been linked with for so many years. Under Pulis, we were linked with him when he left Leeds and went to Burnley. I feel like he's a player we've been after for about 10 years. Just a bit meh. Not really blown away. Next, we have got Chris Mepham. Top of class. Chris Mepham alongside Moet. I'll happily have either of them. I think Mepham is West Brom's best player in the defence. For some reason, a lot of people seem to go towards Nat Phillips, but I think Chris Mepham just does about his business so nicely. So calm on the ball. There aren't many players that can pick out a pass like he can. I just think he's just so calm. And whenever you watch him play, there's never any rash decisions. I never, ever get nervous or have any anxiety when Mepham's on the ball or when Mepham's defending. I really like him overall as a player. I cannot fault him. I love him. I think the bloke is absolute mustard, and I still think it's a great signing. You know what you're going to get from him. The guy's been promoted, I think, twice or 3 times out of the Championship. He was great at Sunderland last year. He was great at Bournemouth, great at Brentford. Like, he's always been a good player. I really like him. I really, really like him. So I still can't get my head around the fact that we've got him. But yeah, I think he's by far the best defender at the club. Next, we have got Daryl Dike. Now, I'm going to go straight in and say no minutes to judge because we can't judge him realistically. He's basically he's probably not even played 90 minutes across the season, let's be honest. But there's quite clearly something wrong here. Now, and I was sat in the Premier last night and there was quite a few fans screaming for him to come on. But what has he shown to suggest that he should be playing? When he has played, I've been disappointed. He's a player that, off the back of that Luton performance right at the end of last season, I thought he was going to be a massive, massive player for us this season. But quite clearly, Mason doesn't fancy him. And when he has come on, he's not impacted the games. So I'm going to put him in no minutes to judge, but overall his performances, when we have seen him in those little moments, it would be poor, but that's too harsh to whack him into poor. So next we have got George Campbell. Now I'm going to put George Campbell in okay, but above Gilchrist. George Campbell for me is a player that for some reason gets a lot more hate and a lot more stick than I personally think he deserves. I thought he was unreal against Amari Gray on the weekend. He was great against Bobby Clark. Coventry. What I really like about him, I think defensively he's incredible, and there aren't many players who will get around him. I know people will go back to that Watford game, but I think it was so harsh to judge him on that. He'd been on the pitch for about 30 seconds and the ball went round him and there was nothing he could have done. But there aren't many players that get round him, and he's not the fastest player, but as soon as a player gets round him, he uses his strength, he leans into them and he wins challenges. I really like him as a defender, and I think slowly we're seeing again, and that performance against Stoke as well, and slowly again, I'm talking similar to Stiles. I think the two of them have been improving as time's gone on throughout the season. I really like him, and I think slowly as time goes on, we saw him again against Birmingham City starting overlapping and things. We're starting to see him gaining confidence, and that's what you want to see. We want to see him attacking more, going forward more, and overall, I can't really fault him. I really like him. Next, we have got Isaac Price. Now, Isaac Price is a really, really frustrating one. If you'd asked me this at the start of the season, I'd have gone class, but he's kind of not really performed now for quite a while, and as this dip in form has come for the Albion, he's been really out of it. At the time I'm recording this on the 27th of November, the day after the Birmingham City game, so he probably will score on the weekend, no doubt. I've said this. But I'm going to put him in, is it good or is it okay? I'm going to say okay, just purely, again, expectations change as the season goes on. And he started the season on fire, but we don't see that enough. And for me, he's not doing enough for the Albion to keep his place. I feel like we should be mixing it up, trying new things. He's one that plays week in, week out, and we've not seen him really at the level we'd expect, probably since about the Watford game, maybe. Arguably, yeah. I really like him, but his decision-making isn't just quite there at the minute. So I think we can kind of take the season, split it down the middle, class in one, poor in the other, so I'm whack it straight in the middle in okay. But overall, I still really like him as a player, and I think his form will come back, because thing is with Isaac Price, he's a number 10, so he's a luxury player, and you quite often see this with luxury players and number 10s, that when the form drops off, they'll drop off because a number 10, they go in and out of games quite often as it is, so I can see why he's in okay. But overall, I still think he's a very good player, and I still think with time, he will come good. Next, we have got Jason Malumbi. Geez, sorry, I couldn't see that on the... Honestly, I need to get some new glasses. Sorry about that, guys. Jason Malumbi. Where do I feel? Now, Jason Malumbi, for me, he was a player that I talk about all the time, that when he's fit and when he's playing well, he's our most important player because he complements Moet so well. But he really let us down in that Coventry game, and he's had injuries, so I'll probably put him in okay. I don't think he's been great this season, but he's still been decent. But I'll whack him in okay for now. I could put him in poor. I don't think he's been one of our standout players for me this season, and I think that Coventry moment really, really, really it's flipped it on its head, and I feel like he really let the side down there. So I'm going to say an okay. A player I normally like. Jed Wallace, not enough minutes really to judge. I know he started quite well and he started quite a few games, but realistically, injury problems. I'll probably put him in okay, because when he did play, he was playing quite well against Stoke and things. I really thought he played well, but we've not seen enough of him this season, in my opinion, especially recently, really, to judge him as a whole. Next, we have got Wildsmith. Wildsmith, no, not enough minutes to judge. Griffiths, though, I'm going to whack him straight into good. I think Griffiths has stepped up massively. Obviously, we saw the mistake against Charlton. Yeah, you probably could say Charlton. He made a mistake earlier on in the season. But since then, the performance against Norwich, the performance against Birmingham last night, performance against Coventry, I feel like he's really stepped up massively. We're starting to see a consistent goalkeeper. So many saves he's making recently. I feel like he's really stepped up massively. And you can see he believes he's good enough now. Whereas before, I used to watch him and think it felt like it was a kid in goal. Whereas now, I feel like he's stepped up massively. And I feel like he's really made that position his own, which is massive for him. He's a player I really want to see come good. You can't help it. We say this all the time. When you see a player come through the ranks at the club, you want them to perform. And I really like the fact that he is performing now. I can't really fault him at the minute. And I think consistently now he's having more good games than he is bad games. So, yeah, I'm going to whack him into good. I think he's had a very, very solid season. Next, we've got Josh Maja. I'm going to say it straight away. People aren't going to like this, but Josh Maja for me is in poor. Josh Maja for me, I don't know what's going on. A player that I used to love, a player that we've been crying out for. And there was a discussion at the start of the season, Hegebo or Maja. Now it's not even a discussion. Whenever Maja comes on now, he doesn't impact games. And what I really don't like, and I think there's a real difference, whenever you watch Maja and you compare him to Hegebo, Maja will at least compete with defenders, kind of, not rough them up, but even just be a presence. Whereas Maja is a fox in the box. His link-up play is brilliant, which Hegebo has parts. Yes, he's not as much of a fox in the box, but he's there. But Maja doesn't do any of that. So when he came on last night against Birmingham City, didn't occupy the defenders, just happy to be there. Just doesn't even lean into them. Doesn't and things like that, especially when the game's going against you. It's fine margins and fine moments like that. It just doesn't seem like he's bothered. I just don't think he's been good enough for us this season. And obviously his contract's up in the end of the summer. I can't see him getting an extension. For me, I've been quite disappointed with him this season. Next, we've got Karlan Grant. I'm going to put Karlan Grant into poor as well. Karlan Grant is one that really frustrates me. He's a player that I really want to see come good, and I love him. On his day, he's brilliant, but we're not seeing that enough for me at the minute. Obviously, he is playing quite a bit at the minute for the Albion. He's got back into the starting 11, but defensively, he really doesn't help out Callum Styles. And there's been quite a few times where Callum Styles seems to be struggling because Grant doesn't track his runners. Grant never tracks his runners. If you watch, you'll see it quite often. And I don't think he's doing enough offensively, realistically, to be in the team. But I think the reason why he's probably starting is because there's no competition for his side. Really, is there? Let's be honest. But Grant, for me, hasn't delivered at the level he should be. And another one who I can't see getting a contract extension, who I imagine will be leaving on a free in the summer. Next, we have got Bielik. Now, Bielik, can't really fault him. Probably not seen enough from him, but whenever he does come on, he looks pretty solid. Can't really fault him. He's played at right back, centre mid. He's going to be a bit part player, but whenever he plays, he seems okay. So I like him. Solid player who I imagine we'll start seeing more in this December run when we're playing literally Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. I feel like he'll really step up massively. So yeah, can't really fault him. Next, we have got Mikey Johnston. Now, Mikey Johnston, for me, number one straight away. The best player at the Albion currently. The way he's going at the minute, he is on fire. He's on flipping fire. And I saw a stat. If he carries on the way, this is, by the way, on the 27th, carries on the amount of assists he's getting per 90, he'll get 17 assists this season in the Championship, which is 3 more than Tom Fellows. He's been incredible. I said this already on the channel. I've said this before. We've seen a massive improvement under him, under Ryan Mason. One of the big compliments I would give to Ryan Mason, that he's getting a tune out of Mikey Johnston to a level that we've not seen this level of consistency from him ever, let's be honest, especially output. We talk about him all the time being a great player and really good on the eye, but he's now starting to deliver the numbers, which is something that I could probably say was his only fault in previous years. So yeah, massive for us this season. I can't fault him at all. I absolutely love the bloke. Next, we've got Banny. No, it's not Banny. That's Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips, good. He does have a clanger in him, though. That's my only problem. And I compare him and Mepham. I feel like, because obviously Mepham was dropped at the time. I don't know if that was to do with injuries or anything like that. But for me, I'd always play Mepham over Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips is a great player, and you probably notice him more because he's always throwing his body on the line. But I also get a little bit nervous sometimes with Nat Phillips. He has got a mistake in him, whereas I never see that with Mepham. But overall, Nat Phillips has been huge for us. Has been a really good part of our defence. And I think that's the thing for me, and the frustrating part about the Albion is We look good defensively, which is not good from set pieces, by the way. But defensively, I think we look quite solid. People may disagree with me, but that's my take from it. Anyway, next we are going to talk about Banny. Now, where do I put for Banny? Straight into no minutes to judge. And that's quite alarming for me. I wanted to see him. He keeps being on the bench, so he's quite clearly, he's nearly there, but we've not seen enough from him yet. So I want to see him. I want to see him in there. We need a bit of his creativity. I'm excited to see him, but I just don't know why we're not seeing him. It's a bit odd. Next, we have got, I cannot see, we've got Diakite. Jeez, my eyesight is horrendous. Diakite for me has been good this season. A player that I think deserves a contract extension. I spoke about it earlier on, and I spoke about this on my TikTok channel as well. He's a player that is great when you're winning, and I always think whenever you're winning, you want to bring on a Diakite because he's not the most exciting player, but he's good on the ball. He keeps the ball ticking. He gives it to better players, and he breaks at play. I don't think he's one that should be starting, but I think he's had an improvement massively this season. I think he's starting to look a lot more calm and assured on the ball because sometimes I do feel like he's never got the ball under control. But I think this season we've seen a bit of an improvement in that sense. He's calmed down quite a bit. Before I used to think he was a little bit rash at times, but I'm really liking him. I think he's been good. I think he's been good for us this season for his role. And I think that's the thing. People say to me, oh, you speak too highly of Diakite, but I think we need to understand what his role is for the Albion. His role is to break at play and move it on. He's kind of the Jakob of our team, but obviously not to his level. Don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing them in that sense, but a similar role, similar like what we expect from the player. But I think he's done exactly what's expected. And I hope he gets contract extension, in my opinion. I think he's definitely good enough to be at the Albion. Next, we've got Illing Jr. Illing Jr. for me, he's been okay. I don't think he's been poor. I'm still really confused because I get a lot of my mates are Villa fans, so I hear a lot about his positional play, and I've spoken to Borough fans, and he spent a lot of the time at left wing back last season. So I'm intrigued as to why are we playing him on the right. I know he can play there and things, but when he's played, I think he's taken his moments well. And I think earlier on in the season, I think his biggest fault when people said he was losing the ball too often, I don't think he was blessed and helped with the fact that Gilchrist and Campbell weren't leaving our half for quite a while. So Illing Jr. was isolated quite often. He was getting doubled up on. His goal against Leicester, he's created the chance against Norwich. He has had a couple of big moments for us this season. But whenever he comes on, I always think he's a bright spark. I like him. I think he's okay. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he should be starting, but I don't think he's poor at all. I think he's one of the better players in the squad to bring on. I quite like that change. Next, we have got Toby Collier. Toby Collier is going to have to be in no minutes to judge. He's one again that I feel like everyone thinks he's way better than he actually is, just purely because he's got the name and he's on loan from Manchester United, because everyone's been crying out for him to start. I still think Malumbi and Moet is a better two. I'd always pick them two. Collier should be on the same should be on the same level as kind of Diakite's bringing them on. I haven't seen anything to suggest that Collier is the man to start for West Brom. But whenever he does play, he gets injured, so we can't really judge him, can we? Which is really frustrating because I do want to see more of him. But there you go. There is me ranking brutally the West Bromwich Albion squad for this season. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think I've been too nice? Do you think I've been too harsh? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I really do appreciate you lot in the comments at the minute, because you lot seem to be loving the channel, and we're growing really fast. I'm trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by Christmas. Outrageous. Not going to do it at all, but I can do it if you lot help me the way you are recently, because the growth has been just out of this world, and really appreciate the support this year on the channel. I'm doing a lot more West Bromwich Albion content, and you lot seem to be enjoying it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you very soon for another video. Comment down below any other West Brom videos you want to see as well, by the way. But thank you for watching. I will see you very soon. Peace.